Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to Emergency Management Associates. We're coming to you from the Area Command, 392 miles west of Kitty Hawk Beach, North Carolina. The first thing I want to do is give some people some thanks. Okay? Yesterday I told you that we had gotten a donation from my cousin Donna and Gregory Howard. We appreciate that very much. Be Real Beast just gave us another $10 super chat. Thank you so much for that. I'm going to give you a EMA sticker on your super chat, and I'm also going to give you a thumbs up for that. Thank you so much, and God bless you, Be Real. We appreciate that ever so much. If you also have not joined this channel, or not just become members, but subscribe to this channel, please do so. Please subscribe to this channel. YouTube unsubscribed 400 people during the past week and a half. We can't let that happen. If you've been unsubscribed, please resubscribe to this channel. If you have not subscribed, please do so. And when you subscribe or resubscribe, also, there's a little thing that you need to do. There's a little tiny bell icon right next to the subscription button. Click on that little bell. When you click on that little bell, you'll see a drop-down menu of 3 items. Those 3 items are important. Click on the word ALL so you'll be notified when we come on the program. Now be advised, YouTube does not like us. YouTube continues to not notify people when we come on the air. Please make sure you notify or let YouTube notify you that we're coming on the air. That's very important. Anyway, I wanted to give some people thanks. Again, Gregory and Donna Howard yesterday gave us a PayPal donation. My wife Carol and I went to the post office earlier this afternoon. Guess what? There was a card there and a letter. The first card came from my dear friends John and Laura from Oregon. Look at this beautiful horse. This is her foal. Okay? In it says, "Hi, Ron and Carol. Thank you for all you do to make the EMA available to everyone. We keep preparing and encouraging others to do the same. Unfortunately, more people are not heeding the warnings, most people, and say things like, we'll just come to your place if something happens. But we can't prepare for everyone. They need to prepare for themselves. Sincerely, John and Laura." Now, Laura tells us that they moved their new horses they moved their horses to a new pasture. The front of their card is their mare Pansy. Their mare Pansy right here. A beautiful horse. An absolutely beautiful horse. Inside here, she's with her 3 gelding horse brothers and sisters out here in the pasture. Isn't that beautiful over here in Oregon? Absolutely stunning. Thank you, John and Laura, for that card, and thank you for your donation as well. We dearly, dearly appreciate that. Thank you so much for that. Also, Kathy Hasselman sent us a letter with the donation. We want to thank her as well. Thank you, Kathy, so much. She sent us a letter here. She sent us a cool letter here. On this letter it says, "Ron and Carol, here's a check that I hope helps. Your information is priceless. If I could give you more, I definitely would. I was watching a different earthquake channel just to see what they were saying or lying about. One comment was, and the new matter is nothing going on." The new matter, nothing was going on. Really? Really? Nothing's going on the new matter fault? Guess what? Even Kathy Hasselman knows what we've told her and what we told all of you. The pneumatic fault is moving up and down the entire fault line. We've shown you the seismograms from the pneumatic fault. Whoever was saying that on YouTube doesn't know what they're talking about. They've not investigated what is going on the pneumatic fault at all. Okay? She says, going on here, "I feel for the people that have no idea what is going on. I try to share with my family and will keep on trying. You two have a great day and much love to you. My sincere greetings, Kathy Hasselman." and she sent her email address as well. Thank you so much for that letter and donation, Kathy. We dearly, dearly appreciate it. That's what I'm talking about, guys. We love getting letters. We love seeing letters and cards from all of you. So please continue that. We'd really, really appreciate it. That means a lot to us. Now, Renee Sebi says 5x5 here, Nico. Apparently, Nico was not hearing us as he should. Our volume is way up, okay? Our volume is way up. I'm going to scroll back through here and see what Nico was saying. But our volume is up. We hope you heard our introduction here. We recorded that introduction about 2 years ago. Okay? I'm just looking here and see what may have been said. Juanito's here from El Centro, California. Be advised, Juanito, we will be talking about all those earthquakes that you felt in El Centro. A lot of earthquakes in El Centro today and every day. El Centro has at least 10 3.0 to 3.5 earthquakes every day, without fail. Today it's more like 50. I'm going to show you like 50 earthquakes in El Centro today. Unreal. Unreal. Like I've been telling you, over in the Imperial Valley, there's like 500 earthquakes every day. And USGS doesn't show anything about it. We have to go digging into the seismograms to find out what is happening, because USGS will never show it. For anybody to say that the New Mountain Fault is not moving doesn't go into the seismograms to know what they're talking about. It's unreal. California is moving, the New Mountain Fault is moving, and we're going to see more earthquakes at both places. I promise you. I do not think that this earthquake that we had late last night, early this morning is going to stop. Okay? Yes, I believe it was the earthquake that we had been looking for several months now. The earthquake that we found that happened last night, early this morning. Okay? It happened after about 9:09 to 9:15 last night. And we've had aftershocks ever since. There's been at least 200 aftershocks. At least 200 aftershocks since last night's 6.6 earthquake. Now, if you haven't seen our program from this morning, I told you exactly what happened. I showed you what had happened. Tonight, I'm going to show you seismograms that show this earthquake occurred. And it wasn't just a small earthquake. It wasn't just a short earthquake either. It lasted several minutes. I'm going to show you that as well. The first thing I want to show you are the earthquakes. Okay? I definitely want to show you that. But before we do that, I want to show you what is happening off the coast of South and North Carolina. This is also very disturbing. Okay? You need to know this. Look at this, guys. This is Tropical Storm Debby. Right now, the eye of the storm is over near Charleston, South Carolina. Right near the border of North Carolina. Okay? It's spinning. Notice that the eye is also over the Atlantic Ocean. And the main part of the storm is still centered out in the Atlantic Ocean. That means that the warm waters of the Atlantic Ocean are supplying power to this tropical storm. This tropical storm has gained power. Okay? It is regenerated. After this storm hit land over in Florida, in the Big Bend area of Florida, it has gone across Florida and into Georgia. It's come out of Georgia over here into the Atlantic Ocean. It's regaining strength. It spent the last almost 2 days out over the Atlantic Ocean. Now it's still there, right off the coast of South Carolina and North Carolina. It's spinning. The average wind speed is about 45 to 49 miles per hour. It has gusted up to 65, 66 miles per hour. 75 miles per hour would be a Category 1 hurricane. It's not going to get there. But we are going to see Tropical Storm Debby reaching out to 48 49 miles per hour. It's going to hit that tonight. We have already seen storms hit here in Morganton, North Carolina today. My wife and I were coming home about 3:30 this afternoon, and we hit a vicious rainstorm. The outer bands of Tropical Storm Debby hit us. There's going to be more outer bands hitting us between now and midnight. After midnight Eastern Time, South Carolina and North Carolina are going to be hit big time. We're going to get hit big time. I'm promising you. If you are in the South Carolina, North Carolina area, batten down the hatches. Batten down the hatches. You're going to see storms like you haven't seen them in a long time. I promise you. You will see rainstorms like you haven't seen in a very long time. Now, let me go here and talk to you about this. Okay? If you don't or have been hiding under a log or a big rock since Sunday into Monday, you may not have known that Hurricane Debby hit and powered ashore over in the Big Bend area of Florida Monday morning about 7 a.m. As the storm got over land, the storm weakened. Okay? It weakened to a tropical storm from a Category 1 storm. It moved slowly through Florida and into Georgia. It moved at about 1.5 miles to 3 miles per hour. Now, the storm has been back over water, just off the coast of South and North Carolina, like I said. It has regained strength. For the past few days, this hurricane has been out over the Atlantic, re-strengthening. Excuse me. Debby is expected to dump potentially historic levels of rain and bring catastrophic flooding. Now, we are expecting at least 6 to 7 inches of rain overnight. 6 to 7 inches of rain overnight. The rain started here just after 3:30 p.m. It dried up quickly, but it is expected to rekindle within a very short time period, probably within the next 2 hours. The storm will unload additional rounds of heavy rain over the southeast through at least tomorrow. Tomorrow night going into Friday. Those people who are along the coastlines of South Carolina and North Carolina could get upwards of 11 to 12 inches of rain and anywhere from 24 to 48 inches of storm surge. 24 to 48 inches of storm surge. That means wind-driven seawater along the coastal areas. Wind-driven seawater along the coastal areas. That means catastrophic flooding along the coastal areas of South and North Carolina. Governor McMaster has been on the air talking to the citizenry through the news media. South Carolina has been right along on the ball. I'm hoping Governor Cooper does the same thing here in North Carolina. We have National Guard troops out. We have National Guard troops out with sandbags. We have citizens out getting sandbags from Lowe's and Home Depot. I hope you're sandbagging your property. Okay? Now, just to remind you, Tropical Storm Debby has been a deadly storm. At least 4 people died in Florida. 1 from a downed tree, 1 on a slick road, and 2 from single vehicle traffic accidents. 1 person died in Georgia due to a falling tree. Debby's tracked through near record warm temperatures and warm waters in the Gulf of Mexico, which helped it rapidly intensify right before it came into the Big Bend area of Florida. Now, Debby has been out here in the Atlantic warm ocean waters for 2 days. It has intensified again to at least 48 to 49 miles per hour with wind gusts of up to 65 miles per hour, like I said. It has not climbed out of the tropical storm arena yet. They do not believe it will come out of the tropical storm arena into a Category 1 again. They don't believe it will. But this storm has high winds not to exceed 65 miles per hour. Most winds, like I've told you, are upwards of 40 to 45 miles per hour, accompanied by heavy rainfall and again storm surge. Storm surge. Have I talked about storm surge before? I believe I have. We've covered storm surge very well. We're going to talk about it really quickly right now. You need to be aware of what's going on, folks. Please take heed to what we're saying. I don't want to see any more people die or be severely injured for not paying attention to what's going on around you. Storm surge. The combination of storm surge and tidal waves will cause normally dry areas near the coast to be flooded by rising waters moving inland from the shoreline. The water could reach up to 40 inches above ground somewhere in the indicated areas of the shoreline during high tide. Upwards of 40 inches during high tide. That happens once a day. If the peak surge occurs at the time of high tide, we're going to see at least 40 inches of water along the shoreline. South Santee River, South Carolina, to Cape Fear, North Carolina, we're going to see 2 to 4 feet of rain. From South Santee River, South Carolina, to Cape Fear, North Carolina, we're going to see 2 to 4 feet of rainfall. Debby is expected to produce potentially historic rainfall totals of 10 to 20 inches, with maximum amounts of 25 inches, bringing areas of catastrophic flooding across portions of the eastern half of South Carolina and the southeast portion of North Carolina through Friday. The last time I checked, it's only Wednesday evening. That means we have at least 2 more days of catastrophic flooding and heavy rainfall. You need to be ready for it. That's why we're talking about this again. You need to be prepared. You need to have plenty of food and plenty of water. That is drinking water for you and your pets. Drinking water for your family and your pets. If you're going to bug out and head west, and that's honestly the best place to go. If you're going to bug out and head west, the time to do it is right now. The time to bug out is right now. If you're going to bug out, take your children and take your pets with you. Do not leave your pets at home alone. Do not leave your pets corralled in a kennel of any kind. I do not want to hear of pets dying because you left them in their kennels or in their home where they're going to drown. Don't do it. Take care of your pets just as you would your children. Make sure they have their favorite toys, their favorite foods, their favorite blankie in bed. Take care of them as you would yourself. This is important because your home is going to have catastrophic flooding across portions of, like I said, the eastern half of South Carolina and the southeast part of North Carolina as well through Friday. From central South Carolina to the update of South Carolina northward into southwest Virginia. Portions of the mid-Atlantic states as well. You all are going to see flooding. You're going to see storm surge. You're going to see higher winds than normal, especially along the coastline. Be prepared. Hurricane Heather says not too far west. It's not going to get over to the borders of Tennessee right now. Okay? Too far west, you're going to get wet as well. Don Patoka just said in the chat. Western and northern New York State into northern New England are expected to get 3 to 6 inches with local amounts up to 8 inches through Saturday. This rainfall will likely result in areas of considerable flash and urban flooding with the storm surge. Stay away from the coastal areas if at all possible. Now with these storms, like we've seen here, and I'm showing you windy here with the wind going on. The outer bands of this tropical storm are throwing off thunderstorms, and those thunderstorms come tornadoes. We expect to see a few tornadoes off the coastal islands of South Carolina and North Carolina, and possibly tornadoes along the shoreline as well. A few tornadoes are possible over the portions of coastal South and North Carolina this afternoon through Thursday morning. Again, we want to warn people to stay out of the ocean water. We talked about storm surge earlier. With the storm surge that is wind-driven water coming to the shoreline, there are very dangerous rip currents associated with this storm. If you're not a professional surfer, stay out of the water. By a professional surfer, I mean if you haven't surfed off the coast of Western California, don't do it. If you've never surfed off the coast of California, don't do it. Stay out of the water. The Atlantic Ocean is a lot different surf than we have in California. I used to be a surfer. I know what I'm talking about. If you don't understand surfing, stay out of the water. You will die. I guarantee it. I've seen it happen. Don't do it. The Atlantic Ocean surf will never ever compare to California or Southern California surf. Don't do it. Stay out of the water. Radar and satellite imagery show the center of Tropical Storm Debby is now located just off the coastal areas of South and North Carolina right now. I'm showing you that now. Debby will track further out over the Atlantic Ocean through today and will remain within a few dozen miles of the U.S. coastline. This is important to understand. We want to make sure you understand to save your lives. Now, Don Patoka is kind of making a little joke, and that's fine. He says professional means paid? Not necessarily. Not necessarily. I've seen a lot of professional surfers out there, whether they get paid or not. By professional surfer, I mean people that have spent extensive hours and days surfing off the coast of California. I've done that. If you have not surfed off of California, don't even go near the water now. Now, you are also seeing a coastal eddy going into New York. You see that wind going into New York here on this windy map? That's happening. We're going to see more of that coming into this weekend. This tropical storm is going over to Virginia, New York, New Jersey, Connecticut, Washington, D.C. Guess what? There's going to be coastal flooding up and down the entire coastline, and the storm may also go into Canada. I'm warning everybody, be safe. Be safe. Does anybody have any questions about Tropical Storm Debby? Don Patoka says, okay, PhD in surfology, pretty much. Now, guys, Don's kind of laughing at this, and I have laughed too. But I have actually got thrown off a beach in Carlsbad, California by the locals. I got run off the beach by a bunch of local surfers in Carlsbad, California, because I was not as good as they were. I learned Carlsbad is not really a place to go surfing if you don't surf there on a regular basis. But you have to learn. So I learned. But for a while, I got run off by the locals on a frequent basis. Okay? Hurricane Heather says it's a California thing to surf dangerous conditions. I agree. It is a California surfer thing to surf dangerous conditions. They do it on a regular basis. The same thing goes for Hawaii. Okay? Don't play in dangerous areas. Don't play in dangerous surf you don't know anything about. That's all I'm saying. Harry Fodder says Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Yes, Pennsylvania as well. This storm is going to go up the coast. You can see it moving. The storm used to be, when it first came into South Carolina, it was moving about 3 miles per hour. It's now moving very much faster. It's moving about 10 or 11 miles per hour in a northeasterly basis. Okay? That's what's happening. Seaglass Love says, I'm in New Jersey, supposed to drive upstate New York Friday to my dad's. This sounds very bad. Stay away from the coastline if you can at all. Stay away from the coastline as much as possible. You don't want to get anywhere near the coastline. Sweet Polly Purebred says her dentist was a professional surfer in California. I was pretty much professional myself. I had a wave that I knew I couldn't handle. The wave I had was over in Encinitas, California. The wave was 12 feet high. The wave was 12 feet high. I disconnected my leash from my ankle that connected me and my surfboard, and I disconnected it and dove into the wave. The wave flipped me up and over 3 times. Flipped me upside down 3 times, and then it landed me on the beach, throwing all of the air out of my lungs. It landed me face down on the beach, boom, knocking all the air out of my lungs. I know what it is to fight a big wave, and that was a huge wave. Lady Kara says, I first learned to surf at Surf City, stood up on my very first wave. What a memory. I agree. I remember those memories. I remember those times very well. Catherine Sigurdsson says, she's scared of sharks. Won't catch me surfing. Yes, I've seen sharks. I have never had a problem with sharks, though. Okay? Don Patuka says, careful, Ron, you could get killed. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I think Don is watching, or has been watching, Jeff Dunham a little bit more than he has in the past. He's watched The Dead Terrorist. He's watched The Dead Terrorist a few too many times, because The Dead Terrorist has said, beware or I'll kill you. Yeah. Yeah. Seen it many, many times, and I'll watch Jeff Dunham all the time, at least once a week. Okay. Does anybody have any more questions? Charlene Savant says, gotta laugh. I agree. You have to laugh. Richard Smith says, he saw sand sharks in Cape May, New Jersey. I saw sand sharks in San Diego. I had to beat to death a sand shark that jumped into my boat. I was in one of my friend's boats with him one evening, and a sand shark came off the bottom and jumped into our boat. Fortunately, there was a baseball bat in the bedroom of the boat. My buddy grabbed the baseball bat, and we shared knocking the brains out of the shark. Not literally, but we knocked him unconscious finally. And we ended up eating him. Okay? I don't kill animals without knowing that I'm going to eat them. I don't knock them unconscious. I don't kill them without knowing that I'm going to eat them. So I don't kill anything that I'm not willing to eat. I did that. Any other questions about this storm? This still is a very dangerous storm, guys. That's why we're discussing it right now. Hurricane Heather says, fun fact, bull sharks can be in the rivers now along the coast. Be careful. I've heard that as well. I've seen pictures. Actually, I've seen video of it. Unreal. Okay, I think we're done discussing hurricane, it's not a hurricane anymore, a tropical storm Debby. I think we're finished with that. Now, let's talk about the earthquake from last night. It happened just after 9:11 p.m. 9:11 p.m. I showed you this picture, this slide here this morning. Okay, I researched how strong this earthquake was. It was not a 5.09. Far from it. NCWQ is asking if we were getting the storm. Yes, we had a wave of the storm this afternoon about 3:30. Okay? It was one of the outer bands of the storm, and we saw it and dealt with it. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. Well, actually it will. I'm not even going to sound hopeful. It's going to happen again. Anyway, this earthquake last night was not a 5.09. USGS put this up and said 19 stations were reporting it. Wrong. There are about 43 stations reporting it. USGS got that wrong, and it was a lot stronger than a 5.09. They showed another one as a 5.5. 19 stations reporting it. Wasn't 19 stations, it was 48 stations, and it was a 5.6 earthquake. The 5.58 was not a 5.58 earthquake at all. They said they had 201 stations reporting. It was more like 400 stations reporting. It took me several hours to put all the information together. It was a 6.6 earthquake last night. It was a 6.6 earthquake last night. Okay? I put all the information together. It was not a 5.6 like it first came out as. USGS put that up and ultimately downgraded it to a 5.2. What a joke. Almost a half magnitude downgrade. But what they didn't say was it was a lot stronger than what they're showing it. Okay? It was a 6.6 very strong earthquake. 5.0 to 5.9 are considered to be large earthquakes. 5.5 to 5.9 are considered to be very large earthquakes. 6.0 to 6.9 earthquakes are very strong earthquakes. This was a 6.6 earthquake, and I've proven it to you. I've proven it to you. Let's take a look at images of seismograms, okay? Before I do that, I want to show you aftershocks of this earthquake. Look at this. There's probably close to 200 aftershocks since last night's 6.6 earthquake. It was near Lamont, California. Near Lamont, California. Let me show you this. This is what it looked like. There's a oil and gas field here, and this is where most of these aftershocks were at. Seismic energy finds drill points. It doesn't matter whether it's oil and gas fracking operation or operations to pull steam out of the volcanoes to power turbines. Every time there's a drill point, seismic energy finds it. And then it fractures the rock in the drill point. That's what happened last night. That's exactly what happened last night. This is an oil and gas drilling operation near Lamont, California. Now, this is not the only one we're going to talk about here. Okay? Look at that. I'm sorry, we showed you that already. This is a power station that is right next to the earthquake. This is a power station right next to the earthquake. Let me pull this down a little bit and I'll show you what I'm talking about. There is the 6.6 earthquake. There is a 6.6 earthquake right here. What you see here, you're seeing two black angles. These black angles that you're seeing around this power plant are actually windmills. They're windmills. We've often seen earthquakes around windmill farms as well. So not only do we have an oil and gas fracking operation, but we have windmills going on as well. 6.6 earthquake and several hundred aftershocks since this earthquake happened. Now this earthquake was felt all over Southern California, from San Diego Oceanside all the way up to Santa Cruz, California. It's crazy. It's crazy. It was also felt all the way out into the desert. All the way out into the desert. Now, I've shown you, well, I will show you now, in just a second here, Victorville, California. Victorville, California. Okay, this is the earthquake last night. Okay? You, down to the south, you see these oil and gas fracking operations. If there is a earthquake within 6 to 10 miles from an oil and gas operation, it's an oil and gas fracking earthquake. And that's what this was. That's exactly what this was. Now, it came out as a 5.5, 5.6 earthquake. 5.7, 5.6 earthquake. It was north of Los Padres National Park. North of Los Padres National Forest. I also have a seismogram I'm going to show you from Los Padres National Forest. I'm also showing you a seismogram tonight from Lancaster, California. I'm going to show you a seismogram from Santa Clarita, California. I'm going to show you a seismogram from Victorville, California that you see here. I'm going to show you a seismogram from Riverside, California. I'm also going to show you seismograms from Anaheim and Long Beach, California. Wait till you see what I've got to show you. This is wild. This is wild. I guarantee you're going to want to see this. Now, this is just one of them. This is Santa Clarita, California. Look at that earthquake. Just after 9:09, 9:10 p.m. last night. You can see it here. You can see it here. Now, let me enlarge this so you can truly see the magnitude of this earthquake. The top and the bottom of this earthquake sequence was cut off. That is an abrupt stop sign here. That means the agency doesn't want us to know the true strength of that earthquake. Look at the amount of time that this earthquake shook. Okay? Let's start over here. I'm going to raise it up. 9:10 p.m. last night. 9:10 p.m. last night. 1 full minute, 2 full minutes, 3 full minutes, 4 full minutes, plus another 50 seconds before that. So almost 5 minutes of full shaking. 5 minutes of 6.6 shaking going on. Then we come down here to just after 9:15 over here on the red line. We see sporadic shaking here. Sporadic shaking. It still was shaking there. It still shook for 45 seconds. Then the shaking stopped, or didn't stop, but it calmed down to about a 2.0 minor earthquake level. Then it came down to basically tremors. Then within a minute and a half later, it kicked up right back up to 4.9. 4.9. That earthquake shook for 45 seconds. 4.9 earthquake shook for 45 seconds. Again, you can't see the full strength of that quake either because they cut off the top and the bottom of the sequence. This is what the agencies do to hide the earthquakes. This is exactly what the agencies do to hide the earthquakes. Then, we come down here to just before midnight. Just before midnight. At 11, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53. At 11:53, we had a 2.0 earthquake. A 2.0 earthquake. And you see the 2.0 earthquake, and we also see the tremors before and after that 2.0 earthquake. And you see tremors all happening. The tremors don't stop. 1.0, 1.1 tremors happening for a great while here. And larger tremors and earthquakes still happening. Over here, after 3 a.m. on the black line on the right-hand side. This is just a 1.4, 1.5 tremor here. Then we come over here on the blue line. On the left-hand side, it would be 3:30 a.m. Over here at 3:10 a.m., we see another 2.5, 2.6 earthquake, and corresponding tremors before and after that quake happened as well. And earthquakes kept shaking, literally all night and all morning long, and they're still shaking this area still. Right now. Right now. It's not going to stop, guys. It is not going to stop. I guarantee you it's not going to stop. I've been watching this literally all day long. I stepped out about 2:30 to go run a couple errands, go to the post office, go to the bank, and pick up something to eat, and came right back home to make sure we had the information for you. Folks, this is Chino, California. Look what we're showing you here. Chino, California here, guys. Look at this. Again, this is after 6 a.m. this morning. The top line here is 5 a.m. here. Look at the shaking going on here in Chino. And at 5:30 this morning, more shaking, tremors. Then we come back over here to approximately 5:39 a.m. this morning on the blue line. 3.5, 4.0 earthquakes here. 3.5 to 4.0 earthquakes here in Chino, California. How do I know it? I spoke to people here in Chino. Arnold Smith says buffering continuously. Is the stream over? No, it's not. The stream isn't over. It's sad that YouTube would start buffering us, because we're showing you the truth. Isaiah's Granny says it's good out there in Victorville, California. Thank you, Isaiah's Granny. We appreciate that. Now, if you have any questions, please send them over to our email address. Our email address is right below this video today in the top of the program description. Send your questions over there. I'll either answer them on the air tomorrow, or I will send you a memo about your answer tomorrow. Okay? Arnold Smith says, okay, that fixed it. That's great. Look at these earthquakes. Okay? A 3.5 to 4.0 earthquake this morning. That's not all. Look at all the other tremors and earthquakes here. This is one of the first times we've seen a 3.5 to 4.0 earthquake in Chino. The first time. It probably is going to happen again. It probably will happen again. Look at the bottom here. The black line here at the bottom is 2 p.m. on the left-hand side. Now let me pull this up a little bit. Over here at 2:09 p.m. we see 2.3 earthquakes. We see tremors, and we see 2.3 earthquakes here. 2:09 p.m. this afternoon. Earthquakes. 2.0 earthquakes at 2:11. 2.0 earthquakes at 2:12. Folks, we have had earthquakes continuously all over the Los Angeles basin all day long. Literally all day long. These are not going to stop for a while. They're really not going to stop for a while. Let's go off to the Channel Islands, off the coast of Los Angeles. Look at this. Look at this. Tremors. Tremors over here in the Channel Islands. Guess what? It does not show anything about that earthquake from last night. All it's showing is from 5 a.m. this morning on. 5 a.m. this morning on. We're not showing any of the other earthquakes at all. But we're still showing tremors and 2.0, 2.3 earthquakes here in the Channel Islands. just off the coast of Los Angeles. Okay? It's moving. It's moving all over the place. The coastal areas off the coast of Los Angeles are moving. Let's look at Santa Rosa Island. Look at this. This is last night. Again, they chopped off the top and the bottom of this quake on this seismograph. Even the seismograph on Santa Rosa Island showed this earthquake. And it's showing the subsequent aftershocks, or wave, not even aftershocks. It's showing the substantive wave of the earthquake. It didn't cover it through about 6 minutes worth of quake. It's only showing a secondary wave, which means maybe, just maybe, the earthquake was not completely visible to the seismograph off in the ocean out there. Maybe. But look over here after 9:15 on the red line here. We're still seeing a substantive wave here, just after 9:18 p.m. last night. Okay? That appears to be nearly a 3.0 earthquake on that red line there. We see tremors leading up to that 3.0, and then we're seeing the secondary wave going off to the right. The secondary wave lasted nearly 2.5 minutes. That's a very substantive quake there, being shown here near Santa Clarita, or Santa Rosa Island here. Santa Rosa Island. Let's keep going here. Let's look at Bakersfield, California, out here in the desert. Again, this is after 5 a.m. this morning. The top line here is 5 a.m. Look at the earthquakes all morning long here. All morning long. Again, we are seeing earthquakes all over this area. They haven't stopped. Up on this blue line here after 5:30 a.m. This is 5:34 a.m. Here we're seeing nearly a 3.0 earthquake. 2.8, 3.0 earthquake here. And you can see other 1.5, 1.7 tremors. We're also seeing 2.4, 2.8 earthquakes. At 7:01 a.m. we had a 2.8 earthquake. At 11, I want to say 11, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 11:06 a.m. this morning, we had another 3.0 earthquake here. Bakersfield, California. And you see the other tremors as well. Cal State Bakersfield seismograph showed us these earthquakes here. Let's keep going. Over at Harper Dry Lake bed. Look at this. These are tremors out here in the middle of the desert. But look here this morning. Actually this afternoon. Over at 1300 over on the left-hand side. The red line is 1315, which is 115. 115 here. We come over here to 1:25 p.m. this afternoon. A 3.0 earthquake out here in the dry lake bed at Harper Dry Lake Bed, out here in the desert. A 3.0 earthquake. This would be the San Andreas Fault out here. The San Andreas Fault out here at Harper Dry Lake. We have the San Andreas Fault and we have the San Jacinto Fault. That's what we have here. Okay, that was this afternoon. Let's keep watching what's going to happen here. I'm going to show you earthquakes all around the area. Folks, this is a picture of the Harper Dry Lake bed where that earthquake happened this afternoon. This is the Harper Dry Lake bed out there in the middle of the desert. Okay? Let's keep moving here. I want to go over to Hemet. Actually, no. Before I go to Hemet, I want to show you Idlewild. Good old Idlewild. Look at this. Usually at Idlewild, guys, we have nothing but tremors, and that's what we've seen here. Nothing but tremors here. Now, I don't know why this seismogram is so big. I just reduced it for you. This is Idlewild, California. This is over in the mountains outside of San Bernardino. Okay? Idlewild. We have talked about Idlewild many times. We talked about Idlewild many times. I have camped at Idlewild. There was one time I rented a cabin with one of my ex-wives, or now ex-wives. I rented a cabin out there in Idlewild. Beautiful cabin. Just like this. An A-frame cabin, but ours didn't have a hot tub. Ours did not have a hot tub. It was an A-frame cabin just like this. Beautiful A-frame cabin. Right here is a sign just outside of Idlewild. Population, maybe 1,300 people. Idlewild is a small town. It's a mountainous town in California. During the winter, it's a ski resort. During the summer, it's a hiker's getaway. Hikers and campers getaway. It's a place you can go for somewhat of a vacation in the summer, or just a weekend getaway. Cabins are all over Idlewild. A beautiful area. Absolutely stunning area. This is what it looks like at Christmas time. This is Idlewild Park. They decorated up the yazoo. It's unreal. It's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. Now, I have not shown you pictures of Idlewild before, but I'm doing it today so you'll understand where it is. This is the town of Idlewild. This is the town of Idlewild here. It's in the San Bernardino Mountains, and it has earthquakes and tremors. Today it's nothing but tremors. Nothing but tremors. But I wanted to show you this to show you where Idlewild was, or where Idlewild is. Let's go out to the desert. Let's go out to Rancho Mirage, California. The desert. Look what we're showing you here. This is nothing but tremors out here in the desert. They're not even showing you the earthquake. They scrubbed the earthquake off of the seismogram. The earthquake was felt all the way out here into Rancho Mirage area. But the agency, Caltech, scrubbed the seismogram. Doesn't show it. Not at all. They're scrubbing all the other tremors and earthquakes that have happened. They're showing you minor tremors. Very, very minor tremors out here in Rancho Mirage. It's sad that they're not willing to show us the truth out in Rancho Mirage. We have felt reports out here in Rancho Mirage. Okay? Victorville. Isaiah's granny lives in Victorville. Look at this. Again, this is what happened last night out here in Victorville. Isaiah's granny said that she felt the quake, and it rocked roughly. It rocked her home roughly. Again, what we're seeing here is just a sawed-off portion of the earthquake. They took off the top and they took off the bottom of the quake. Again, it was not a 5.6. It was not a 5.7. It was a 6.6 earthquake. A 6.6 earthquake. It hit hard, and it hit hard for a reason. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. Also out here in Victorville, we're also seeing a bunch of tremors. After the main part of the quake, all we see here after 21:15, 9:15 last night, on the red line is tremors. Tremors. That earthquake lasted 6 minutes, and all we're seeing is maybe a minute and a half of shaking. Then it goes down to minor earthquakes and tremors. That's not what the other seismographs showed. The other seismographs were showing almost a full earthquake. 3 to 4 minutes with heavy-duty shaking, and yet we're not seeing that here. Only a minute and a half worth of shaking out in Victorville, in the desert. Again, this is the San Andreas Fault here. The San Andreas Fault. Now, the fault where the earthquake occurred, was called the White Wolf Fault. The White Wolf Fault. This is quite a ways away from the White Wolf Fault. Okay? Let's keep going here. Okay. Let's go over to the San Jacinto campus in Hemet. This is Orange County. Orange County, California. We are seeing tremors here. We are seeing 2.0 earthquakes here. Orange County felt that earthquake. They're not showing us what happened last night, but what we're seeing here on the seismogram is earthquake tremors here. Earthquake tremors here. Okay? Mount San Jacinto campus, it's a college campus over in Hemet. I've been there. I've been there. All right, let's keep going. Now, I want to take you over to Los Angeles now. I want to show you JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. Again, this was this morning. All we're seeing here this morning was tiny tremors at JPL. All the other seismograms are showing us a lot of tremors. JPL never shows us a lot of tremors ever. But here we're seeing more tremors than we usually do at JPL. What we should be seeing are tremors throughout the whole entire day. Because there is shaking in Pasadena. There's shaking all throughout the LA area. But again, Caltech, California Technological Institute, is not showing us everything. They're scrubbing the seismograms. They're scrubbing the seismograms. Okay? Not showing us everything. Let's go over to Baldwin Hills. Baldwin Hills is the oil and gas producing area just northwest of Los Angeles. Baldwin Hills. Here at the Baldwin Hills seismogram. This is this morning after 5 a.m. This is the same old thing. Nothing new here. 1.2, 1.3, 1.5 tremors all day long. This is normal for the Baldwin Hills oil and gas producing area. This is normal. But what is not normal here are the gaps where the seismologists turned off the seismogram. Or turned off the seismograph, excuse me. The seismograph is a machine. The seismogram is the recording of what happened. Twice, actually 3 times today, they shut off the seismograph. Once, just after 10:34 a.m. this morning, and then they turn it back on for about a minute and a half, a minute and 3/4, and they turned it off for another 4 minutes. Why? Why? Then again, after 12:15 p.m. this afternoon, they turned it off again. After about 12:25 p.m. this afternoon, they turned it off for 4.5 minutes. 4.5 minutes. Why? Why are they turning the machine off? What are we missing here? What are we missing here? Why did they turn it off? We don't know. We may never know. But for some reason they turned it off. Or are they scrubbing the evidence from the seismograph? Are they scrubbing the evidence from the seismograph? Yes, they've done that as well. Are they doing it here? Heaven knows. We don't know. We don't know. Cassandra Goss is here in the chat. She says, my daughter, or her daughter, lives in North Hollywood and got a notification there was an incoming earthquake and to take measures. Almost immediately afterwards, the earthquake started under her feet. Folks, those earthquake sensors that are available on earthquake apps all over Southern California don't always work efficiently. They might give you 2 or 3 seconds notice before a major earthquake. That's what happened last night. They gave your daughter basically 3 seconds notice before the earthquake hit. Sad. Sad. Now I was going to try to show you the seismogram coming from North Hollywood. But for months now, the North Hollywood seismogram has been screwed up. They're playing with it. They're playing with the North Hollywood seismogram. It's gobbledygook. It's what they call artifact. The entire seismogram cannot even be trusted. There's nothing there that can be trusted at all. Why do they even have a seismograph there that usually worked before several months ago, but several months ago they basically screwed around with it. That's all they're doing, screwing around with it. There's nothing honest about that seismograph. Nothing. So I've not shown it to you. I've not shown it to you. So Sandra Goss, I apologize, but Caltech screwed the seismograph up a long time ago. They screwed it up. Okay, I showed you the Baldwin Hills. Let's go over to Del Amo, an urban community just north of Los Angeles, Del Amo, California. Look at this. This is not normally what the Del Amo seismogram looks like. Not this much activity. Almost top to bottom, side to side, we have anywhere from 1.5 tremors on down to 3.0 earthquakes. At the bottom on the black line, there's a 3.0 earthquake here. The bottom black line is 2 p.m. on the left-hand side. Just after 2:05 p.m. today, we had a 3.0 earthquake. Why? Because we had an aftershock of the 6.6 earthquake not even late last night. It happened at 9:09 p.m. last night. This 3.0 is just another aftershock from that earthquake. And over to the right, 2:12 p.m. here, a 2.0 earthquake. Also, something else that you need to know about. After 10:33 a.m. this morning, someone shut off this seismograph. Someone shut off this seismograph for almost a minute. Then they turned it on for another minute and a half and shut it off again. This time shutting off for 4.5 minutes. Then, this morning after 12:24 p.m. this afternoon, they shut off again for 4 minutes. Those blank areas are areas where they shut off the seismograph, not recording data. Yet this afternoon, after 2:05 this afternoon, we had a 3.0 earthquake, and later another 2.0 earthquake after that. Incredible. Aftershocks from that 6.6 earthquake. Lisa Marie Grethy sent us a $20 super chat. Lisa Marie, thank you so much for that. We appreciate that ever so much. God bless you. God bless you for that. Heaven knows we need that to keep this program on the air. I'm also giving you a sticker, an EMA sticker, and I'm also giving you a thumbs up for that wonderful super chat. God bless you, Lisa Marie. We appreciate that greatly. Don Patoka has quoted Joel Skousen here in the super chat just above or just before the Lisa Marie super chat. Don Patoka says, knowledge will not save your life unless you put it into action. Joel Skousen said that, and it's true. Knowledge will not save your life unless you put it into action and you do something with your knowledge. That's why we're showing you the seismograms. We want you to be aware of what's going on. That way you can prepare for yourselves and for your family. We want to save your lives. That's why we're showing you this earthquake information tonight. You deserve to know. Yes, with this seismogram right here, we're showing you a great deal of information. A lot of information that you would not normally have. There is seismic activity here. Del Amo is always active, but not this active. I believe it's this active because of the 6.6 earthquake last night. I'm almost dead sure that's why we have wall-to-wall, side-to-side seismic activity. Almost the entire seismogram being covered with color. That's a lot of seismic activity in just a 12-hour period. And that's basically what we're showing you, from 5 a.m. down to 5 p.m. I pulled this seismogram just after 2:15. That's why you're not seeing the 2:15 line or anything after that. Side-to-side color here, top to bottom. That's a lot of seismic activity here in Del Amo. Again, this is just north of Los Angeles. I'm going to show you several more seismograms just like it. Okay? Let's go over to Fontana. Fontana is over on the east side of the Los Angeles Basin. Look at this. Look at this, guys. Again, Fontana has been having all kinds of seismic activity for about 2 months now. All kinds. But I believe because of what we saw last night there in Los Angeles after 9:10, 9:11 a.m., or not 9:11 a.m., 9:11 p.m., a 6.6 earthquake. We're seeing a lot of seismic activity here, including 3.3 earthquakes. 3.0, 3.3 earthquakes all over this seismogram. Up at the top this morning, just after 5:33 this morning, 3.0, 3.3 earthquake over on the blue line here. You can see raised seismographs, or excuse me, not seismographs, raised seismic activity here, all throughout this seismogram. 2.5, 3.0 earthquakes all over this seismogram. At the bottom of it, on the black line here, just after 2:01 p.m., a 3.0 earthquake. 3.0 earthquake. Over on the green line just above it, this would be 1:49 p.m. here. Again, a 3.0 earthquake at 1:49 p.m. Unreal. We continue to follow this seismograph over here to 2:09, just after 2:09 p.m. Another 3.0 earthquake. And you can see 2.5, 2.6s, and another 2.9, 3.0 earthquake after 2:14 p.m. this afternoon over here on the right. We're also seeing periods where they shut off the seismogram. They shut off the seismogram 3 times here just like I pointed out on some other seismographs here. Whoever shut it off should have their hand slapped hard. The seismograph should never be shut down, ever. Why are they shutting it down? What are they trying to hide? Yes, I sound like a conspiracy theorist, but I am. Because the agency is not giving us anything else to go on. They're not explaining themselves why they turn off the seismographs. Why are they not showing the data? That's the biggest question I have. Why are they not showing the data? Let's go out to the desert areas to the Fox Airport over at Lancaster. Look at this, Lancaster. This is over on the San Andreas Fault, guys. They're not showing the earthquake here at all. They're not showing anything here. Again, this is after 5 a.m. this morning. They're showing just minor tremors. They have scrubbed all the other tremors and earthquakes off the seismograph. Scrubbed it off. This is a clean seismograph for all intents and purposes. That's what I want to show you. They scrubbed the data off. Earthquakes all over LA, all the way out into the desert area, but out here in Lancaster, they scrubbed the data. Incredible. Now, I have sent an email to USGS and to Caltech asking them why they scrubbed the data off the seismograph. It's obvious that the earthquakes and the aftershocks were being felt in Lancaster. We have felt reports. Yet they're not telling us what's going on. Isaiah's granny says no one is being given evacuation notices. Not for the fires and not even for the earthquakes. It's incredible. It's incredible. I'd like to know why they're not giving out evacuation notices. I would have thought it's necessary. I would have thought it's necessary. But they're not. Let's go over south of Los Angeles to Laguna Niguel. Laguna Niguel. Look at this. Again, we're seeing tremors here. This is after 5 a.m. this morning. Nothing but tremors. These are low velocity tremors. Low velocity tremors. We are seeing tremors and earthquakes all over Los Angeles. Why are we not seeing it here in Laguna Niguel? Yes, we're seeing tremors, but nothing big. Yet there are larger tremors all over LA. They're not showing them here. Why not? Now, let's go over to Del Amo. This is also a suburb of Los Angeles to the north of LA. Look at this. Wall-to-wall colors, top to bottom, side to side. Again, we're seeing missing portions of the seismograph. They scrubbed it. They turned the seismograph off. Just after 10:33 this morning, they turned it off for less than a minute. Let another minute and a half go by, and they turned it off again for 4 minutes. They turned it off again for 4 minutes after 12 I'm going to say 12:25 this afternoon. 12:25 this afternoon, they turned it off for another 4 minutes. Why? Why? Right after 2 p.m. this afternoon, 2:05 and 25 seconds, we had a 3.0 earthquake here. Del Amo, California, just north of Los Angeles. Okay, at least a 3.0 earthquake. Over here, after 2:12, actually right at 2:12 p.m. this afternoon, we have a 2.0 earthquake here. But why are they turning off the seismographs? We want to know that. Del Amo, California, guys. Del Amo, California. Let's continue here. Let's go over to Los Angeles itself. at the city-county building, that great big huge building in downtown LA. They have a seismograph in the bottom basement of the building in the Emergency Operations Center. Look here, they're not showing anything but tiny tremors. Tiny tremors. This is what they usually show us. But again, why are they shutting off the seismographs? Again, 10:33 this morning. Then again at 10:36 this morning, 4 more minutes. Then again at 12:24 p.m. Again for 4 minutes. Why? What's the point? Why are they shutting the seismograms off? Turn the seismograph off. The seismograms don't have the data. Why not? I hope to get an answer for you from Caltech and USGS. USGS is not even showing this information on their earthquake map. They ought to, but they don't. They don't do it. Moore Park. Today, guys, 5 a.m. today, they show us tremors. They show us 2.0 earthquakes after 5 a.m. 2.0 earthquakes here after 5 a.m. 3 of them. Basically 3 2.0 earthquakes. Actually, I'm sorry, that's not true. 2.4 earthquake that was after 5:09. Then we had 3 more tremors after that. Not 2.0, but tremors. But we have tremors and earthquakes literally all day long. 8:32 this morning on the blue line. 8:32 this morning we have a 3.0 earthquake. Again at 9:32 this morning we have another 3.0 earthquake. We have tremors and earthquakes all day long. 11:02 a.m. this morning we have another 3.0 earthquake, and it may have been back to back here. One 3.0, actually a couple 3.0 earthquakes, then silence for about 4 seconds and it starts up again. Multiple 3.0 earthquakes after 11 a.m. this morning. Then we come down here this afternoon. On this blue line here over on the left-hand side is 2:30 p.m. this afternoon. We come over here to 2:40 p.m. here. Again, this seismogram has been chopped off here. These earthquakes have been chopped off after 2:40 p.m. here. We have about a minute and 20 seconds of 3+ earthquake activity. A minute and 20 seconds worth of 3.0, possibly even upwards of 4.0 earthquakes here. Unreal. Moore Park, California. Yes, we've seen these kind of earthquakes here before, but this is unusual. Why are they cutting these seismograms up? Why are they shutting down the earthquakes where we can't see what's going on? This is a lot of earthquake activity in Los Angeles. It's not just up at Lamont, California. It's all over the LA basin, all over the valley. Yes, there are earthquake faults all over Los Angeles, literally. Why are they cutting off the seismograms, not showing us the real veracity of the earthquake? We want to know. We deserve to know. I hope I get a letter back from them, an email at the very least. Let's continue here. Moore Park. Okay. I pulled up a seismogram for Ronald, also north of Los Angeles. The same thing here, where they shut off the seismograph for 2 different times here. Actually 3. The same elements here, same time elements. They shut off the seismograph. Here we're just seeing tremors here in Ronald, California. Let's keep going here. I want to go over to Rancho Palos Verdes. Again, this is near the coast. This is near the coast, just north of Los Angeles, north and west of LA. Rancho Palos Verdes. My wife was born in this area. Okay? Look at this. This is nothing but tremors. We've seen earthquakes all around the valley. This seismogram should show us earthquakes, not just tiny tremors. And that's what we're seeing. Nothing but tiny tremors here in Rancho Palos Verdes. They have scrubbed this seismogram. They're not being honest with us here at all. Nothing here. It's all false data. Now, again, I want to show you Santa Clarita. Look at this. This is where we get the biggest or the best look at the earthquake from last night. Yes, they topped off the earthquake and bottomed off the earthquake as well. But at least they showed the length of the earthquake. They showed us the length of the earthquake. 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 4 minutes, almost 5 minutes here. And then over here at 21:15, 9:15, it continues. 2.5 minutes later, it continued again. But again, they cut off the top and the bottom. So we know what happened last night. We know what happened last night. But why are they cutting off the top and the bottom again? Because they don't want us to know the exact strength of the earthquake. I figured that out. I went to the back seismologist study page and pulled the data. And then I did the mathematics to come up with a 6.6 magnitude earthquake. It was not a 5.7, it wasn't a 5.6, it was not a 5.0 as some of the data pointed out. They lied about it. Real B says he works for the city of Los Angeles. And trust me when I tell you, I hope you don't live here. I used to live in San Diego for 28 years. I came up to Los Angeles all the time to visit friends. Be Real says there is no plan for any emergency, including an earthquake. I agree. I've done my research. There are no plans for evacuating anyone. There are no plans to help anyone. Yes, they will send out first responders when there's a major event. They always do. But there is no emergency plan anywhere. Even though FEMA says there's an emergency plan, the Los Angeles City County does not have an emergency plan. I've seen that. Rob 52 used to live and work in Los Angeles area. He and I talk a lot. We're very close friends. We're brothers. He told me the same thing. He worked for Los Angeles City as well. They don't have any kind of emergency plans whatsoever. FEMA requires it. Emergency managers around the country have been told by FEMA that they need to have an emergency plan, that they need to have an emergency kit. But how many do that? 25% of emergency managers around the United States have an emergency plan or have an emergency kit of any kind. How do I know? Because FEMA sent out a survey in 2014. And 25% of respondents came back and said that they had an emergency kit. That means 75% of the emergency managers around this country do not have any kind of emergency kit at all. And I will bet you they don't have emergency plans either. Los Angeles City is a large multi-million population, and they don't have plans. They don't have plans. Isaiah's granny says San Bernardino County doesn't either. Does that surprise anybody? I hope not, because it's the truth. Richard Smith is reporting a 3.3 earthquake in San Juan, Argentina. That's typical. That's typical. Renee Seppi says, wow, getting pictures from friends living in Washington, D.C. US 421 out of Wilmington headed towards Harrells is a river. Not surprising. Not surprising. The outer bands of this tropical storm have reached up to Washington, D.C. Not surprising. And it's only going to get worse tomorrow. Promise you. Let's continue this so we can end this program sometime tonight. Okay? I want to show you now what it looks like over in Long Beach. Look at this. This is light hype. This is the seismogram from light hype over in Long Beach. Look at this. Side to side, top to bottom, seismic activity. Side to side, top to bottom, seismic activity. Look at what is happening over in the 10-15 time period on the red line. Yes, we have top to bottom, side to side seismic activity, but you can see white through the color. Again, they shut off the seismograph. They shut off the seismograph. Yet we're having all this seismic activity here. Long Beach, California. Look at this. This is a ton of seismic activity. A ton of it. At approximately 6:40 this morning, there was a 3.0 earthquake that lasted 2.5 minutes on the blue line here. A 3.0 earthquake that lasted 2.5 minutes this morning at 6:40 a.m. this morning on the blue line. And you can see other 3.0s and 2.0s, 2.5, 3.0 earthquakes up and down throughout this seismogram. Down at the bottom, on the blue and green lines here, or I'm sorry, not the blue, but the black and green lines here. 3:15 this afternoon, on the black line on the left-hand side. We're seeing 2.0 earthquakes. Then all of a sudden at 3:01 p.m. this afternoon, you see a 3.0 earthquake. Multiple 3.0 earthquakes back to back. Then a few seconds go by and there's another 3.0 earthquake. And we can go further from there all the way down here to past the middle of this seismogram. At 3:09 p.m. here, we have another 3.0 earthquake. We're having 2.0s and 3.0 earthquakes happening all afternoon long here. That's why we have nothing but color here. All morning and all afternoon long, side to side, top to bottom in this seismogram. Long Beach, California. Would you folks like to see what's happening in Anaheim, where Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm is? Guess what? I'm going to show you that next. You might be surprised, but maybe not. This is Anaheim, California. State Street. State Street. Now, this seismogram showed us 1800 last night. 1700 up at the top here last night. 5 p.m. last night. We come down here to 2109, 9:09 p.m. Again, over here on the black line, from 9:09 p.m. all the way over here to the right. Nothing but 3.0 plus activity. Nothing but 3.0 activity. But the top and the bottom are cut off, so we do not see anything larger than that. Again, it's a 6.6 earthquake. 6.6 earthquake being registered here in Anaheim, California after 9 a.m. last night. I don't think Disneyland stayed open after that earthquake hit. I don't know for a fact. I haven't called Disneyland today. I've been too busy. But I'll bet Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm shut down operations after 9:09 last night. Unreal. Unreal. Arnold Smith says tent cities are everywhere in California. All over Los Angeles. Literally all over Los Angeles where this earthquake affected people. I bet those tent people were scared out of their minds. I can only bet that those tent people are scared out of their minds. This is Anaheim, California. Look at the earthquakes last night. Earthquakes early this morning. Over on here on the brown line, or excuse me, on the green line here at the bottom. 4:45 over on the left-hand side. Over here to the right, here in the middle. This would be at 4:22 this morning. Actually, 4:52 this morning. 4:52 this morning, we have another 3.0 earthquake. Another 3.0 earthquake. We have a lot of those here. A lot of them. Anaheim, California was shaking last night, and probably still is. I know they must, if they opened up Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm today, they must have checked their equipment to make sure it could run, and run safely. They have another amusement park up north of Santa Clarita. I hope they opened up that amusement park today as well, because the earthquakes are still happening. Earthquakes all over Los Angeles are still hitting. Will they get larger? I doubt it. I highly doubt that those earthquakes are going to get larger at all. I think they saw their limit last night. Why? Because, folks, we've seen probably 200 aftershocks since then. 200 aftershocks. Now, I want to show you something else. Okay? I told you I had pulled a seismogram from Los Padres National Forest. Right here. Right here. Okay? Again, this is after 5 a.m. this morning. Nothing but tremors. This seismogram is also hiding information. This is just south of where that earthquake hit. They are hiding information here. This is from Los Padres National Forest. They had a lot more than just 4 or 5 tremors here. 6 tremors. These tremors don't make a hill of beans. They had full-blown earthquakes here. They had full-blown earthquakes, but they're not showing anything. They scrub the data off the seismograms. They don't want people to know what's going on. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. They don't want people to know what's happening. Okay? Now, I have seismograms from San Diego and down in Imperial County, California. They look like this as well. They look like this as well. One other seismogram from Los Angeles, and then we're going to wrap this up tonight. I don't want to keep you much longer. It's nearly 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This is over in Walnut, La Puente, California. Remember that this is a volcano. Walnut La Puente volcano is sitting up under Walnut and La Puente, California. It's a volcano. Look at the earthquakes here. Look at these earthquakes here. This is last night. This is last night. Again, after 9 p.m. last night, what happened? Let's look over here at 2100 hours. That's 9 p.m. We come over here just before 9 let's see, 9:06 p.m. here. We're already seeing earthquake activity. Earthquake activity before the main shocker hit. Before the main shaker hit, I should say. We're seeing tremors and we're seeing full-blown earthquakes. 2.5, 2.8 earthquakes. Then again, at 9:09 p.m., all heck broke loose. A 6.6 earthquake ensued. We're also seeing 3.0, 3.5 earthquakes all over the seismogram last night. This is at a volcano. There's no doubt in my mind that this volcano is recharging. We've seen these kinds of earthquakes at La Puente caldera many times in the past. This is normal, except we're kicking in the 6.6 earthquake further northwest in Lamont, California. That's incredible. Hurricane Heather says Granny Ferris wheel was terrifying. I can only imagine. I haven't been on that one in a lot of years, since the 1990s. It's incredible. Do any of you have any questions about Tropical Storm Debby or this earthquake in Los Angeles from last night? Do any of you have any questions about any of this? I have seismograms all over Southern California. I showed most of you these seismograms today. Okay? The Real Beast says you can see the shifting in the roads more than ever. The ground is not stable at all. I agree. I've seen that. That is one reason that I left San Diego City back in April 2020. I'm sorry, not 2020, April 2000. April 3rd, 2000, I told San Diego goodbye, and I haven't been back there since. This is one reason why. Incredible. Hurricane Heather says, I saw it last night shaking with people on it. Unreal. She saw people shaking on that Ferris wheel. I don't think I'd want to see it. Sage Pup is asking, Ron, what are the chances of this last night being a foreshock? I answered this question earlier and I'll answer it again now. I don't believe this is a foreshock. I believe this earthquake last night was actually the earthquake we've been wanting to see for about 3 months now. I've been talking now for about 3 months of having a 7.0 in Southern California. Last night we have a 6.6. So I do not think this is going to be a foreshock. I do not think this is going to be a foreshock. However, with that said, I still believe we're going to have a 7.0 over along the border region of the Imperial Valley and Mexico. The Imperial Valley and Mexico. Mexicali and Calexico. It's going to happen again. We're seeing seismic activity building up in that area. A lot of seismic activity building up in that area. Okay? I've been watching it. It first started April 3rd, 2010. A 7.1 earthquake, they're now saying it's an 8.0. A 7.1 earthquake hit there April 3rd, Sunday, April 3rd, 2010. It shook the entire Imperial Valley. It nearly destroyed Mexicali and Calexico. Glass windows fell out of skyscrapers in San Diego. Skyscrapers moved around side to side in Los Angeles. That was a major quake down along the Mexican-U.S. border. I believe it's going to happen again. Guadalupe, Victoria, Mexico. Guadalupe, Victoria, Mexico. Mexicali and Calexico. It's going to happen again. Laura Marie says, does anyone else have advertising coming on this program? Yes, YouTube is doing it. YouTube is doing it. They're putting these ads back to back every few minutes. It's sad. I'm going to try to stop it. I'm going to ask YouTube to stop it. This is ridiculous. Our program gets interrupted a lot. It didn't used to happen until about 3 weeks ago. And after that, it's been happening ever since. I'm going to work on that for you guys. Don Patoga says, Laura Marie, if you pay for the ransom for YouTube Premium, it won't do that to you. I just don't want to pay the ransom for YouTube Premium. Some of you do. Some of you have YouTube Premium, and I applaud that. I tested it out. Then when YouTube tried to bill me, I shut it down. I decided it's not worth $14.99 a month. And you have to pay it on an annual basis. YouTube takes that money right out of your checking account. And I said, no. I don't have that kind of money to put out. Not going to happen. Does anybody have any questions about anything we talked about? We're going to continue to talk about Tropical Storm Debby for a while, because we're going to continue to feel it for quite some time. Through at least tonight into tomorrow and Friday. So as long as that tropical storm is out there causing people problems, we're going to continue to cover it. Because I believe everybody deserves to know what's going on to save your lives. To save your lives. Don Patoka says monthly, Sir Ron. LOL. I thought YouTube wanted $14.99 a month for me. And there's another ad here. They just threw another ad at me here. Unreal. Starting tomorrow, I'm going to try to stop it. Anyway, guys, I appreciate you all being here. I love you all. God loves you. I believe God brought me here for all of you and you for all of me. All of me. Isn't that wild? I think God brought us together. Okay? I want to go over to Philippians chapter 1 here. Renee Seppy says 5 ads in 1 minute. Isn't that wild? YouTube just loves this channel because so many people come here. If they keep throwing ads like they're doing now, they're gonna shut down this channel because nobody will watch it like that. It's bad. Like I said, I will try to stop that first thing in the morning. Anyway, I want to go over to 1 Philippians chapter 1, verse 27. Only let your conversation be as it becometh the gospel of Christ. Let our conversation be as the gospel of Jesus Christ. That whether I come and see you or else be absent, I may hear of your affairs. That ye stand fast in one spirit, with one mind, striving together for the faith of the gospel. Each day is a new day. Each day we're exercising our faith in the Lord Jesus Christ to make sure we obey His commandments, to make sure we can live healthy and wealthy and wise for Jesus Christ. We try to strive to obey His commandments so that when we finally leave this earth, we can go to live with Him forever. Obedience to His commandments. Brothers and sisters, I care about you. I know the Lord loves you as well. That's why we're here together. That is exactly why we are together. Because the Lord loves you and He loves me. and I'm here for all of you. Brothers and sisters, I care about you. Again, I want to thank those who contributed to our program in the way of donations. Gregory and Donna. I want to thank John and Laura for the donation they sent us in the mail today, and that beautiful card. That beautiful card here. Isn't that something? I just love that. Thank you, Laura Marie. We appreciate that. Tell your husband we thank him very much for you helping us. We love that. We love that. Kathy Hasselman, thank you very much for your donation as well, helping keep this program on the air. Folks, again, we have 2 PayPal locations. We have a Venmo location. We have our post office box. You can send us cards and letters whether you have a donation for us or not. Please send us cards and letters. I love to receive them. I have kept every card and letter that I've ever gotten. Every card or letter I've ever gotten, I've kept. That's because I love all of you. And I love going back and seeing them. I appreciate you guys so much. Wages World is here. Mark, thank you for being here. Mark says, keep up the great info, my brother, great job. Mark, I say the same thing to you. Last night, Mark was on the air talking about X-class flares and sunspots facing Earth with possible coronal mass ejections. Those coronal mass ejections cause earthquakes. That's one of the reasons we're getting hit with these earthquakes. Mark, I love you, brother. I love you and your family. You're awesome. Thank you for all the good work that you're doing. In my program description, I have not put up links to your program only because YouTube keeps taking them down. So I show some of the latest programs that you're doing, but I can't put up the links because, again, YouTube takes the links down. I care about Mark Wages. I care about what he says because he talks the truth. He notifies people when we have solar eruptions, coronal mass ejections. These coronal mass ejections are plasma radiation coming to the Earth that heats up the plates of the Earth, causing earthquakes all the time. Lama's Lysine, Ron moved to Morganton. Yes, I did. I moved here 3.5 years ago. 3.5 years ago. And yes, my wife and I love Morganton. It's a great place. It is really a great place to be. We love you guys. We thank you for being here. God bless you. God be with you until we meet again. If anything else happens tonight, we'll be back on the air to tell you about it as soon as the information becomes available. Other than that, we will be back here tomorrow evening, sometime after 6 p.m., to continue this Emergency Management Associates episode. God bless you. God be with you until we meet again. We will see you on the other side. Good night, everybody. Much love.